I'm going to play two songs that are a little bit, as they say, off the beaten path, maybe a little bit less unknown, but they're great songs which I like. All right? וביום 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 השבת וביום 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 השבת וביום השבת שנכנסים בין שנה תמימים וביום השבת שנכנסים בין שנה תמימים
Thank you, Eitan. Shkaya. Havdalah. הנה אל שותף ולא אחד כי עוזי וזמרת אדוני ויהי לישועה ושפתי מים וששו ממעייני ישועה לאדוני הישועה על עמך בחטאך סלה אדוני צבאות עמנו משגב לנו רנקוב סלה אדוני צבאות אשר יד אבותיך בך אדוני הושיע המלך יעננו ביום קורנו ליהודים הייתה אורה בשמחה וששון ויקרקן תהיה לנו כוס ישועות אשאו בשם אדוני אקרא סברי מרנן רבנן רבותיי ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא מיני בשמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא מאורי האש. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavir ben kodesh lecho ben or lechoshech ben Yisrael la'amim ben yom hashvi l'sheshet yemei ha'maaseh Baruch atah Adonai hamavir ben kodesh lecho. Shavua tov.
Shavua tov, everyone.
Shavua tov.
So I have a story for you which has two messages to it. Maybe one surprising. So this fellow in Israel happens to be a cab driver. He is closing on the day of the story. He is closing on a new dirah, a new apartment or residence. I'm not sure actually if it was an apartment or a house, be as it may. And he is on his way to the bank to make a withdrawal in cash for the money, or this part of the money that he's putting down on the house. And it's a sizable amount. He goes in, he parks his cab, goes into the bank, and comes out with a briefcase that he knows is filled with cash. As he's opening the door to his cab, this fellow walking on the street says, "Hey, cabbie, I need to go up to Naharia for an important meeting. Can you take me there?" Now, this is a pretty big fair. This fellow is probably more in the Bnei Brak area, so it's an unusual fare for a cab driver to get, and so he found it hard to resist. So he had time on his hands for the closing, and he takes the gentleman, nice guy, and it's a pretty hot day outside. So midway in the trip, the passenger says, I'm very thirsty. Could we stop at the next kiosk? Can we stop so I can get a drink? Okay, no problem. And the guy says to his passenger, says to him, can I get you something too? And the driver was like, he's a shy fellow, so he said no. But the guy comes back to the cab, and he's carrying a second can of a drink. And he says, "Here, I got you a drink. Do you want it?" And again, he says, "No, it's okay." And he says, "Please, you'll make me feel good. That if you could drink this, make a bracha. I opened it for you already to show you, my graciousness. Please, do me a favor and drink." So he really was also thirsty. So he drank the whole can down. And then he says, then he had a big gap in time, because the next thing he knew, his car was moved from where he had left it. He was still in the car. That somebody moved his car deeper into the off-road part where he had pulled off. And he had fallen asleep for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And he wakes up, there's no passenger, and there's no briefcase. And he realizes that this open can of drink that was given to him had some type of sleeping potion added to it. And in his thirst, he drank the whole can of soda. Now, I'm sorry to disappoint you with what's going to come next in a way. I mean, I'm not sorry, but if I were hearing this story, I would probably want to know what legal steps he's taking to recover his money, to trace the guy, but um, but he makes a telephone call, and his telephone call is to Rabbi Silberstein. He tells him just very briefly what happened, but he says, I just woke up, and I'm piecing it all together, but I still feel the the coolness and the satisfaction that that drink gave me. Should I be making a bracha achrona? Should I make a
That's what he's
borei
thinking of.
yeah.
He's just robbed.
So should I make a borei nefashot? On the one hand, yeah,
Should have called Ron Fiegler.
yeah. On the one hand, he says, I enjoyed the drink. It hit the spot. I'm still feeling that benefit. But on the other hand, it had another aspect to it, which could be causing me a great loss. So Rav Silberstein said that there's a Gemara in Brachos, which deals with a related question. So the Gemara in Brachos says that if a person finds a lost article, and say, and it's something that that halachically the finder is allowed to keep, meaning, primarily for us, it would mean that it had no way of identifying who the owner was. It could also be that if you found it in a place that was predominantly a non-Jewish place, you wouldn't be obligated to return it. But besides for the halacha, that this story was taking place where the king of that province, that his rules were that all lost articles are to be turned over to the crown, and that he knows that if he would be found not in compliance with that law, that not only would the article be confiscated, but especially because he was a Jew, uh, most or all of his other property would be confiscated as well. So just to place this in context, we are obligated to follow the Dina de Malchuta Dina principle, that you have to follow the laws of the land. But the qualification on that is that they have to be fair laws. So like if Jews are discriminated against, if there's one set of laws for Jews and another set of laws for others, then we're not obligated to have to follow those laws. So it would appear that would maybe be the circumstance. So since there was unfairness and he found this article, so halachically he'd be allowed to keep it, and he's happy about it. It's worth enough money that he feels that maybe he wants to make a shechianu, or if he's married, maybe the bracha of hatov meitiv, he's sharing it with his wife. Should he make that bracha, or because it's possible that by his keeping that article, that it could lose him to a great loss, cause him a great loss. So that same article caused him a great loss. So Rabbi Silberstein, reminds us that in the Gemara holds that the person should make the bracha, whichever bracha of thanksgiving is appropriate, that he should make that bracha, because at this moment it is something that's good for him. What happens in the future, we don't know. But we make that bracha on what the case is right now. And so since the fellow enjoyed the drink and it hit the spot, so yes, he should make a bracha achrona, even though post his satisfaction enjoying the drink, it had this expensive consequence for him. So the two messages are that even though most of us, including myself, are surprised by the question that was asked to Rabbi Silberstein, obviously this guy is a real tzaddik, very righteous person, that he could be thinking of, this type of religious obligation at a moment that maybe even the dream is shattered, and that he had such a huge financial loss to be able to put it in a context and to focus on, halacha that he had to address, immediately speaks volumes of this person's faith and dedication to halacha and acceptance of Hashem. Secondly, I'll just use it as a timely reminder that there are a lot of scams around. So please be careful. I got a telephone call again. I don't know why they still do it, but it was also, the wording was a little bit different. It said that because of fraudulent activity, my social security number has been placed on hold. I've never even heard that one before. I didn't know you could do that. So I don't know what came after that. I didn't press number one. So, but whether it's that or things that are more subtle, please beware. We don't want you having any kind of questions coming up. So be careful. You're invited to unmute yourselves so that
So the
we can.
moral of the story is drink and drive, maybe? If he was still drinking and driving, maybe this wouldn't have happened to him. I don't know.
Bring your own beverage.
Shavuot Tov.
Shavuot Tov, everybody.
Ciao, everybody.
For joining
Good
us.
week.
And Keith and Judy.
Thank you for Havdalah.
Ruth,